Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, welcome. So this video might seem a little bit repetitive for some of you guys that have been my ride or die fans, you guys that have been watching every single video I've been putting out, right? But since I recently shared with you my 7-day post-arrival COVID testing experience, I thought it would be incredibly useful if I created a video that was just dedicated to your frequently asked question with regard to this 7-day testing that you have to do in Nigeria, this mandatory testing that is a requirement for all travelers traveling into Nigeria. Before I get started, I would like to thank Medbury Medical Services for their support in the creation of this video. Medbury Medical Services is an accredited laboratory based in Nigeria, which means that they've actually been approved by the relevant state governments and the Nigerian Center for Disease Control to carry out COVID-19 testing. They have made testing easier. You can easily drive to their drive-through centers in Lekki Phase 1, in Ikeja GRA, and get tested in 15 minutes without needing to get out of your car, or simply walk in to their medical lab at Abba Crescent in Ikeja. It's great to know that they also have an approved lab in Harcourt, River State, a sample collection center in Delta State, and managed services in Imo State. I'll ensure to leave all their location information in the description box below so that you can easily locate the nearest Medbury Medical Center close to you. You can select your preferred Medbury Medical Sample Collection Center when you are directed to choose your laboratory of choice for your 7-day post-travel COVID tests in Nigeria on the Nigerian International Travel Portal, which is the portal where you have to register before you can travel to Nigeria. I am happy to be supported by Medbury Medical Services because I personally have had a great experience with them, and many members of the Travel to Nigeria Facebook community have had great experiences with them too. In case this is your first time seeing my face, my name is Sassy Funke and I'm a Nigerian author, travel and lifestyle content creator. I'm also the founder of Travel to Nigeria, a platform that was created to help Nigerian travelers navigate travel during the COVID-19 pandemic and beyond. Make sure to follow Travel to Nigeria on Instagram. Don't also forget to click the big red subscribe button down below, as I'll be creating more informative content to help travelers to Nigeria navigate travel during this uncertain period. So let's get straight into this video. I am going to be answering the most popular questions that I have received surrounding this mandatory testing that is a requirement for all travelers traveling into Nigeria. So I'm going to be reading the questions from my phone here and answering them. The first question is, why do we have to take a PCR test on arrival after already taking one before travel? The second PCR test is a measure by the Nigerian government to reduce the number of positive cases that are actually coming into the country. The truth is, you may have caught COVID in transit, at the airport, even on the plane. It's not news that a lot of people are buying fake tests even to travel from Europe to other places. So the person next to you might actually be COVID positive. So this second test is to prevent more positive cases springing up in Nigeria. All in all, this testing requirement is a way to actually protect you yourself, your family, your friends, and other people from catching COVID-19. It's also key to note that many countries now, even the UK, Canada, are actually implementing very strict, rules for people entering their country, whereby they're even requesting for them to pay, right, for hotel quarantine and whatnot. So to be honest, when you put things into perspective, this requirement of paying for an additional COVID test is not as bad as it seems. Second question, is this test mandatory? Yes, it is. The government is actually sanctioning those people that have refused to do their COVID test. Key to note that yes, you might pay for a test, but it's important to actually do the test. If you do not do the test, you run the risk of the government banning your Nigerian passport for 6 months, so you cannot travel for 6 months. Or if you are a foreigner, you risk the possibility of them also revoking your visa. Next question, How much do I pay for the COVID test? The cost of the COVID PCR test actually varies across private labs. Currently, it ranges between 36,000 naira and 50,400 naira on the payment portal. Next question. I am currently in Nigeria and came in with a temporary QR code. Is it possible to either do a free PCR test at a government location or shop around for a lab where I can do a cheaper PCR test? My question is this: will the NCDC, that's the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, accept any results from any lab apart from the lab on my QR code? The short answer to this is no. The NCDC will not approve or accept any other test result from a different lab. It's key to note that only private labs can actually carry out COVID-19 tests for travelers. And it's also good to know that your test results are actually sent directly from the lab to the government. Next question. Can I pay on arrival for this test in Nigeria? You are advised to pay online whilst registering on the NITP, that's the Nigerian International Travel Portal. For some countries like the UK and South Africa, if you're traveling from those countries, it's actually mandatory for you to have paid for the test before you're allowed to board the plane. They will actually check at boarding, at check-in, whether or not you paid for this test, and if you haven't paid for it, you will not be allowed to board the flight to Nigeria. This might change over time with regard to maybe even adding additional countries to the list, so it's best for you to actually pay in advance to avoid any potential drama at the airport or at the airport where you're traveling from, and also at the airport on arrival in Nigeria. You don't want no stress, no wahala. Do you have to stay in a government approved hotel before you take your test? No. The government is no longer holding people on arrival in Nigeria. You go home to self-isolate before you do your 7-day test. Do you have a list of the federal government approved labs, testing centers in Nigeria? Yes, this list is actually published on the government website, that's the NCDC website. I'm going to link below in the description box the list of all the approved labs, of which Medbury Medical Service is one of them. Can someone in Nigeria pay for the 7-day COVID test for someone in the US with a Nigerian account? So I guess the question here is, can I use someone else's card, maybe someone else's Nigerian card, to pay for my COVID testing if I'm in the US, trying to travel from the US? First of all, you can use both Nigerian cards and foreign cards. So if you have a foreign card, for example, you can use it on the portal to pay for your test. But you can also leverage and use a friend's Nigerian bank information to pay for your COVID test too. That is also allowed. The key thing to bear in mind is when you're making payments for a Nigerian bank account, use the Nigerian currency, but for a US account, for example, bank account, use the USD currency to ensure that payment is smooth and happens without any hitch. When filling in the portal site to book the appointment, do we put in our Nigerian passport number, or UK, in my case, a Belgian passport number? I would personally advise you to put in the Nigerian passport number, but there's actually nothing wrong with you putting in the Belgian one too. The reason why I would advise you to put in the Nigerian one is because it's easy for the government to now track that you've done your COVID testing in Nigeria. But if you have your Belgian one, it might be a bit confusing because the information they have on arrival when you arrive is your Nigerian one, but you've done it on your Belgian one. So just to avoid any confusion, I would advise you to register using your Nigerian passport number. Can one really avoid it? I guess they mean here avoid doing the second test and just do the test 3 days before departure. So I've seen this question floating around a lot on the Travel to Niger page and also on in my DMs. Many of you are trying to avoid paying for another COVID test before you leave the country, because many countries now have a requirement that before you leave you have to do a test. So you're thinking, can I just do one, and will one be valid for both? The guidance as shared by the NCDC is that everyone should do their test 7 days on arrival. I believe now, I'm not quite sure, but if after the 10th day that you've arrived and you haven't done your COVID test, your lab will most likely report you to the government, and you basically risk a ban, a 6-month ban on your international Nigerian passport, or having your visa, if you are a non-Nigerian, revoked. My money was charged twice and I didn't get a receipt for the payment I made for the 7-day mandatory test. If you have issues to do with payment, like double payment, I would actually advise you to reach out to your bank to resolve that. If you didn't get a receipt for your test though, I would email support@lagosstatebiobank.com. I'll put that up here so you can see it now. That is support@lagosstatebiobank.com to reach out to them and ask why you haven't received your payment receipts, or I guess your test lab, in case you didn't receive that too. So guys, thank you for watching this video through to the end if you made it here. I really appreciate every single one of you watching this video. I hope the video has been informative, that you've learned something new, and I hope it's been so useful that you will share it on your social media platforms, maybe on your WhatsApp groups, on Twitter, and your Facebook groups, so that other people, other Nigerians and other travelers to Nigerians can benefit from this information and have an easier journey coming back into Nigeria. If for any reason I haven't answered a question that you have, feel free as always to drop your questions in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you're part of this incredible community. Thank you once again, and I will see you guys on my next video. Bye!